Back to a video after 2 months because I finally got a new phone after like 2 months. Today is gonna be a reaction video. If you have not played the game, Red Dead Redemption 2, do not watch this video. If you want to get spoiled, of course. If you want to get spoiled, then go ahead, watch it. But thanks to Fizzy, I watched some of his videos, like the Black Water Massacre and stuff like that. Like, I didn't finish Hosea's Illness, stuff like that. But he makes all game theories and stuff like that, like the O'Driscolls, was there a rat, for example, stuff like that. There might be ads in this one, like there was in the last video, but it shouldn't take too long, but let's just hope that we can get this done. My volume is gonna be down a little bit.
Lemoyne's Bayou is a horrible, damp place. A muddy, swampy region with limited
Before I continue, I hope this is not going to be copyrighted by this music that he just put it in. I really hope it's not going to be copyrighted because I already have like several videos that I need to delete because they're copyrighted. Hopefully this one's not going to be copyrighted. Fizzy, please forgive me about like reaction to your video. Sorry about that.
Visibility at night. It's very easy when exploring this region to come across various different predators, such as alligators or panthers. However, they aren't the only things that go bump in the night here. It doesn't take much exploration to discover that the bayou is also home to some creepy and sinister discoveries. And it won't take you long to realize that the most dangerous and gruesome predator in the bayou is of the more bipedal variety. Gather round the campfire, friends, and allow me to tell you the story of a gang of murderers that makes the bayou their home. Because in this video, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the night folk. You're probably thinking, Ethan, you've done this video before. You're right, I have. Well, sort of. I did a 6.5 minute video on the night folk back close to when the game released. However, that's nowhere near as in-depth as this video is going to be. Obviously, that video missed out a lot of the meat that comprises this depraved cult, and I'd be lying to myself if I said I was happy leaving this subject on a 6.5 minute video that misses out most of the crucial information. So be sure to keep watching if you wish to find out all there is to know about the mysterious, eerily silent night folk. So be sure to grab yourself a warm drink.
Fair warning, there also might be some gruesome things, like, for example, like in the, people getting hanged, and they don't even make any sound, but he's gonna come back to that later, so.
And some snacks. And let's begin. Whilst exploring the bayou, you may encounter what appears to be a woman crying. Dimly lit by a small fire, she's wearing white and appears to be in a considerable amount of distress. What caused this scene? The Honourable Cowboy will more than likely want to investigate.
Ma'am? You're okay, ma'am? Talk to me. I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh, shit.
Before we can even register what's going on, we realise it's an ambush.
Creepy bastards.
This is one of the many ways we can be introduced to the night folk. A creepy cult of murderers who do not speak. They wait silently in the night and ambush any who fall into their traps. Often, they'll be found covered in dirt, or their faces will be painted white. Their clothing is tattered and torn, and they appear to prefer utilizing melee weapons such as knives, machetes, and even axes. And for ranged weaponry, they utilize bows. It's rare to find night folk using firearms. They very much so prefer up-close and personal killings, especially in their ambushes. And if you're unfortunate enough to let one get too close, they can kill you instantly. On their bodies, you will seldom find anything of value. It's hard to fathom what their motivation for killing is. It just appears as if they do it. Once you've had an introductory encounter with the night folk, a stranger mission will unlock, in which we meet a hermit-looking fellow at a campsite.
Hey, What's the commotion?
You a loon or something? This night folk country.
He reminds me of a Red Dead 1 character named Seth. By his voice. I believe that's his voice. I completely forgot. I was playing Under Nightmare like a few minutes ago, and then I was on the call with my girlfriend, and then yeah, stuff like that. But this is one of the best games I ever played. If you guys haven't played the game already, completely play it in my interest. It only costs like $60, I believe. $60 to $70, I can't remember which one. But it's a very good game. And it leaves a lot of mysteries. Ugh, sorry, I'm tired. Sorry about that.
Night folk. I can handle myself.
Okay.
Maybe you should clear out, though, if you're so troubled by things in the night.
It's night folk. And I would, it's just stay on my property. Hey, would you help me get them off? I pay you for your troubles.
Pay me, huh? Maybe. Show me where this place is. We'll see.
All right. Let's go. Hey, it's just over there. You a good man, partner. Them night folkers put me on them. Right, they got their paws on me. Hang me up on a hardwood hammock. Boy, I'm lucky I ain't dead as it is. Night folk. Oh, they bad people. Bad folk. Animals, a lot of them. You know, I ain't never heard no night folk speak. There's not been one peep out of no night folk. Not that I ain't heard it, at least. Imagine not uttering a sound. Can you fathom that? What kind of evil don't make no sound? It's bad, all right. Bad. I mean, I don't meet many folk out here on my own.
By the way, I might do a video possibly in a few weeks, possibly next weekend if I ain't doing nothing. About it. About the, the gang thing. About another gang. About another gang named, the Murphy Brood. Very serial killers, but I'll tell you that when I get into it. Which is probably gonna be in a few weeks.
For the most part, but I still speak, you know? I talk to myself, ain't no one else around. Chew my own goddamn ear off.
I can imagine.
Now, used to be, the gators was the worst thing in the bayou. Gators and snakes. I've been snake bit more times I like to remember. Ain't been gator bit, though. Got that to be thankful for, at least. Gator bites is nasty.
If I never gotten bit by a snake or a gator, if you guys have, leave a comment down below if you guys want to. I ain't gonna say what to do because I don't get any likes, I don't get any comments, but that's your guys' choice. Comment if you got bit by a snake or a gator. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to hit 50 subscribers so I can actually go live and do a lot of games for you guys, do a lot of reaction videos and then stuff like that. Just try and get me to 50 subscribers. That's all I'm asking right now. Is just give me the 50 subscribers so I can go live, so I can do games, stuff like that.
Then turtle bites is bad, too. They call them snapping for a reason.
I've been known to snap.
Fun fact, I actually before I continue, I'm sorry, I keep on yapping, I know. I used to actually almost get bit by a snapping turtle. I saved a turtle in the middle of a road once, and it started, like, almost bit me. It was like, it was snapping at me.
So, how about keep it down?
Yes, partner. Yep. That's probably best.
From here, it isn't long before we start coming across the night folks' handiwork.
Oh, hell. Look at that. He fresh.
Just imagine seeing, if this was in real life, which thank goodness it ain't, imagine just seeing that dead body. Ugh, that would be terrible. Hang on, I'm gonna resume it, and then when he gets in, yeah, there it is. So, imagine just seeing that right there. That would be a gruesome sight to see. You probably would not be sleeping for days if I saw that, to be honest. If I saw them doing their handiwork like that, I would not be sleeping in days.
You see what I mean? This night folk work. I knew this fella. Good fella.
This guy actually got less injuries, you should say. He did not get that gruesome one that he got by this guy. Hang on.
See what I mean?
Yeah, he did not get the best one. He got the worst one out of that guy. That guy got the best of it. He got the worst of it.
This night folk work. I knew this fella. Good fella. Didn't deserve this. Now come on.
Were you or a loved one admitted to an
Like I
Illinois
said, there's probably
behavioral
gonna be
health
ads.
facility? A global settlement may be coming in.
Slow down. Hey. Poor fella on the tree been here for years. You think it's bad being a dead fella on a tree? It's worse when you're a live one with a stick through you.
I also forgot to mention, which I probably wasn't gonna mention anyways, this guy was probably killed while being upside down. Fun fact, we're gonna do a little Jesus thing real quick. One of the things in the Bible, apparently, this guy died on a cross upside down, and that reminded me of that.
From this we can gather the night folk have been in the area for years, brutally torturing and murdering people, and this old fella, whose house is now overrun with the night folk, remembers all of it.
Lamps out. They might not speak, but they sure can see. Now look out here, there's gators.
What a place to make your home.
It's nice, ain't it?
Now it's time to clear the night folk out from the old man's property. On this one, I chose not to mess around, so as you can imagine, explosive ammunition it is.
There we go. Up there. Night folk up to all sorts. You go deal with them. I'll be here with my rat gun.
Okay, do what you can.
Oh, they got someone. Poor fella.
Hey! Clear off of there! Shit, they're coming!
Fun fact, during one of the missions, like the movie Brood, like I said, they actually killed me first try with a machete. So the movie Brood, I'm not going to go too far into it, that's going to be on a different video, like I said, but they have machetes, knives, guns, stuff like that, and I was walking in that cave, sneaking in as a mission, and I saw this guy beating it, like, killing a man, just chopping him up with a machete, just kept on hitting him, stuff like that. So, yeah.
You got him all right. The place is ours.
If you're quick enough, you can rescue the night folk's would-be next victim. Okay, we may have cleared the night folk from the shack, however, there's always more lurking in the bayou.
Boy, oh boy, there's gotta be more of them.
Stead. I'll see.
I don't like this. Not at all.
Oh, no, more. Oh. Goddamn evil. That's gotta be them.
After killing...
Did he switch into the other gun? I did not see. Let me know in the comments, because I'm not trying to be here. Oh yeah, it's 21 minutes. Whoops, my fault. I tried to pick a short video. Whoops.
all the night folk, the old man rewards us with some rubbish. It is just rubbish, there's no other word to describe it. And then we move on our way, knowing that we've removed a few evil bastards from this world. This isn't the only time we can encounter the night folk. We can also find other signs of their presence. For example, corpses hanging from trees. The night folk hang their victims from trees to use them in future traps. Often they...
I tried to warn it, like, I think I told you guys that. They hang the people. If I didn't, then they hang the people and they use them as bait, like you just said. And they practically, use them as bait to lure someone in. And then they start killing them. So stuff like that.
move fast and attack in small numbers, hoping to catch an unsuspecting traveller off guard to feed their endless cycle of violence. Moving on the corpse hanging from this tree, we can find a letter. The Night Folk victim's note simply reads, "If you find this, I am dead. The Night Folk haunted my dreams, and now they haunt my waking hours too. I have tried to evade them, but it's only a matter of time, I feel, before I am bested. The silence is overwhelming. Pray for me." This poor man spent God knows how long being hunted by the Night Folk, like it was a game of cat and mouse, except there was an overwhelming number of cats. The letter points out the overwhelming feeling of the silence. As we know, the Night Folk make no sounds, because if they can help it, they will stalk the bayou silently, unless it's a ruse for one of their many traps. The letter also mentions that first the Night Folk stalked this poor man's dreams. Considering the Red Dead universe is sprinkled with a touch of the supernatural, it wouldn't surprise me if this cult somehow manifested those dreams, calling the man to the bayou so they could hunt him. But I think logically it's more likely that he'd either heard the stories or had close encounters in the past. There is another letter on another hanging corpse that can be found. This one reads, "Dear Parker, if you believe these Night Folk are a thing of fantasy, then you will have no qualms about spending an entire evening from sundown to sunrise out in the bayou. If you can, then your fraternity brothers pledge to give you $50 for your efforts, which we hope will be returned to us in steak and wine at one of the finest eating houses in Saint Denis. You are braver than me. Tales of their silent, creeping, ghoulish murderousness makes my blood run cold. My spine is trembling at the mere image of it. Good luck, and I look forward to hearing you tell the tale, if you make it back, that is. May fortune favor you. Chuck." Unfortunately for Parker, he never made it back, as the Night Folk clearly made short work of him. To many, the Night Folk are just a terrifying bedtime story. However, to others, the threat that this mysterious group of killers in the bayou poses is very real. While exploring the world outside of the bayou, we can encounter this woman who has had a run-in with the Night Folk.
Well, you seem half normal at least.
Thank you.
Sorry that came out wrong. Just been crazies and creeps through here today. Some days is like that, you know. I know not to judge a book by its cover, but all you can do is just go with your gut, and failing that, go with your gun. It takes a lot to spook me. Probably the worst night I ever spent was in the Lemoyne Bayou near Saint Denis. And I ain't even got to the good bit yet. I was camping out there probably about 2 years back now, and I heard people talk about these Night Folk living in the swamps around those parts, like feral, barely human, preying on travelers. But you know, every place has these tales, so you learn not to pay them too much heed. But soon as night fell, it started. Figures in the trees all around me making the most horrible noises, closing in on me. All I could do was keep yelling and firing off shots from my rifle. Dawn has never come slower. And when it did, I hightailed it out of there as fast as I could. Never seen anything like that before or since.
The traveller explains to us that the Night Folk did indeed make noises, which is peculiar. However, it may be referencing the fact that the Night Folk appear to communicate in a series of clicking and hissing. We also learn that the Night Folk like to taunt their perceived prey, sometimes just scaring their victims rather than killing them. As in this woman's example, it seems as if the Night Folk didn't want her dead, because if they did, she would be, because by the sounds of it, they had her dead to rights. Whereas with us, the Night Folk seem to ambush us at pretty close range, distracting us with the gruesome sight of their last killing, and then using that as cover to sneak up on us. Maybe on some level they know they need survivors so that they can be a cautionary tale. Don't go into the swamp, because that's the Night Folk's territory. More evidence of Night Folk presence includes a wagon full of body parts, specifically the remains of a horse that has been ripped to shreds, for lack of a polite way to put it. In my game, this did not trigger a Night Folk ambush like I suspected it would. However, I believe this is the work of the Night Folk for one reason. If you leave your horse unattended in the bayou, there is a chance that the Night Folk will kill it. And then you'll be without a horse, which is not ideal.
Okay, that's actually kind of funny. I watched this video like a few times already, and I was like, that cannot happen. Like, your horse might die, but when you die, you'll get a new horse. So now, that's just, sorry about the thing, I'm charging my phone. That is hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. That is actually pretty funny, because think about it. He has no horse, he's floating. I actually was playing Red Dead 2 on like my Steam Deck, I believe, and I see John Marston just walking to a seat, and he just sits down, and he's like, and he's just floating midair. And I'm like, okay, what?
The Night Folk are the only rival gang that has random encounters specifically revolving around them, targeting the player's horse with the intent to kill it. Therefore, horse is almost certainly on the menu, so finding a massacred one that's been placed in a wagon by people in the Night Folk's territory almost certainly means the Night Folk had some hand in it. This is unique to the Night Folk in the sense that not even the Skinner Brothers or the Murphy Brood, two other gangs that we can find in the open world that appear to kill for the same.
Now, he said Skinner Brothers and Murphy Brood. The Murphy Brood is probably more dangerous than the Skinner Brothers, because the Murphy Brood, everyone is terrified of them. The animals, the law is terrified of them. They kill the people in the most gruesome way. So do the Skinner Brothers, because I haven't gotten this thing, I believe, and this person had, like, I believe had their brain showing, as like, and he's like, the Skinners did this to me, or something like that, and he has like, his eyes are gutted out, or like cut out, stuff like that. I won't go too much more into that one, because that's just, stuff. Like I said, the Murphy Brood and Skinner Brothers, well, I just said the Murphy Brood is going to be in a few weeks, and the Skinner Brothers also possibly going to be in a few weeks as well. I might do a video tomorrow, don't know yet, so.
Of killing, target your horse in order to kill it instead of you. Moving on, every now and then we can come across the Night Folk as they're disposing of their victims. If you kill and loot these Night Folk, sometimes you can find valuables. However, I don't understand what use the Night Folk will have for silver and gold when everything else points to the fact that they completely cut themselves off from the rest of society when they're not killing everyone. Most of the time, Night Folk, when looted, are only carrying simple items such as herbivore bait and other things that indicate that they live off the land when they're not too busy murdering people. So what do they do with the metals they loot off their victims? Forge them into weaponry? Things like that? It's odd for a band of killers completely cut off from civilization to see value in items that would hold value in society, especially when it doesn't have a cut and dry practical purpose in itself. And even when it does, you hardly see the Night Folk getting about with rifles or pistols, and I'm sure they've killed plenty of people carrying those. I think I'm reading too far into something that isn't that deep here. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. So all of this brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Who are the Night Folk? Well, firstly, the gangs that they have the most in common with, and that's not saying very much, are the Skinner Brothers and the Murphy Brood, who are more akin to crazed bands of serial killers than a band of outlaws. All three of these groups are violent and kill gruesomely, almost indiscriminately, without any purpose. However, the difference is the Night Folk do this without uttering a single syllable of spoken English. The Night Folk appear to share a lot in common with the cannibals from Bone Tomahawk, who also cover themselves in dirt and white paint and do not
Before I continue, comment down below also if you watch that movie or show, whatever it is, because I have not seen it, and just let me know if it's actually good, because I might watch it. So, yeah.
speak aside from making animal sounds. So maybe they're a reference to that, and thus the Night Folk are a cult of cannibals, though often their victims appear to be, as far as we can tell, intact, besides from the fact that they're dead. And like I said earlier, the Night Folk will often target animals as well. Though often their victims appear to be, as far as
So I'm just gonna reverse a
we
little
can
bit.
tell, intact. So maybe they're a reference to that, and Tomahawk, who also cover themselves in dirt and white paint and do not speak aside from making animal sounds. So maybe they're a reference to that, and thus the night folk are a cult of cannibals, though often their victims appear to be, as far as we can tell, intact besides from the fact that they're dead. And like I said earlier, the night folk will often target animals as well. Their victims can be found in various states of dismemberment, from more or less perfectly intact to ripped to shreds. So there's really no evidence that explicitly states the night folk are cannibalistic. However, maybe a hint to their true purpose can be found somewhere else entirely that isn't anywhere near the bayou at all. While we can't come face to face with the night folk outside of the bayou, there is nothing that states that they cannot leave it for whatever purpose. So if we head into the western side of West Elizabeth, past Lake Oangela, I hope I pronounced that right, I know I didn't, we can come across a pagan ritual site, in the centre of which there appears to have been a sacrifice, a gruesome one at that. If the sigils at this site are familiar, it's because you can find similar markings in Lakay, in the bayou. You can have night folk encounters in this area, and the marking is in similar white paint to which the night folk cover their bodies in. Back to the pagan ritual site, this appears to be the representation of some dark deity or even Satan himself, considering the general gruesomeness of the scene and the iconography of a horned animal. The existence of the very same markings found here in Nightfolk territory leads me to believe that there is at the very least some connection. After all, in video games, everything is deliberately done. This is here for a reason. So maybe the Nightfolk are a cult of pagans to some degree, and considering the gruesomeness of that ritual site across the map, they seem to worship a dark deity. And I find it convenient on top that in this very same region that we find the Nightfolk in, we can also find the house for the strange man, inside which it's creepy as all fuck. We don't know.
This guy is a strange man. I'm just gonna say a little bit about him, which probably will take like a few seconds, so hopefully a few seconds, probably a few minutes. But the strange man, the story is about him being God, Devil, Grim Reaper, because he appears when death is near to the people. Like, this guy named, Jimmy Brooks. In Red Dead 2, he walks up to Arthur Morgan, and he just, recognizes him in Blackwater. There's a theory about Jimmy Brooks being, a test, as Arthur's death was coming soon, which was going to be the end of chapter 6, where he dies of tuberculosis. So, yeah. The strange man also appeared in Red Dead 1, knew John from the spot, and then went to his house, went to his house after a few missions and said, "This is a fine spot." That fine spot was at his house in Beecher's Hope, close to it on top of a cliff, which was his grave after he got shot 20 times by the U.S. Army and Edgar Ross, Pinkerton Detective Agency.
For sure if the strange man is God, Satan, the Grim Reaper, or something else entirely, but maybe his shack being present.
And oh, whoops.
Sadly, companies like Google could leave you exposed. Here's why you should switch to DuckDuckGo on all
Present here is known to the night.
People are also saying that he is part of the that he's also, not the Grim Reaper, but people are saying that he also is Hosea Trelawney. He might look like him. I think that he might be Hosea Trelawney. But he probably ain't.
Folk as well, and maybe they believe him to be this dark deity that they may worship. Okay, this is a wild one that doesn't really have any grounds. I just thought I'd throw it in there to see what people think. Also, the symbol on the ground at the pagan ritual site, whilst not identical, seems to strike similarities to the voodoo sigil for the Opener of Ways, which is the entity responsible to guard the doors between this world and the netherworld. The Nightfolk definitely have some voodoo inspiration in there, but what entity have we come across in the Red Dead universe shares similarities with the entity that I just mentioned? Honestly, this is weird. The strange man feels like a bit of a discussion cop-out at this point, but I don't know if I'm actually onto something here. But it would appear as if the Nightfolk are some sort of cult that follows what they perceive to be a dark deity. And what's interesting is New Hanover, where the Murfree brood are, the Bayou, where the Nightfolk are, and West Elizabeth, where the Skinner brothers are, all have some form of iconography within them that references some form of dark deity. So maybe there's a deeper connection between these gangs than initially thought. Maybe they're different sects to a broader cult. While they may be different, their level of brutality and modus operandi is pretty consistent. Or maybe that's just a massive coincidence. And maybe somehow this man is at the center of it. Okay, this is officially me just riffing, so we're going to move on. Off the back of all of this, I think the Night Folk are definitely a pagan cult of some variety. They're going to have some reason for doing what they're doing. They're not just a band of people in the bayou that kills for killing's sake. Maybe that's a part of what they are, but there's got to be more. There's got to be a reason behind why they don't communicate outside of clicking and hissing noises, and while it may not make sense to us, there has to be an in-law explanation as to why it makes sense to them. While it's not the most interesting of conclusions, I believe they worship some form of dark entity. That, my friends, is my take on the Night Folk. Thank you all for watching this video. I really hope that you've enjoyed. This is one of my shorter The Gangs of Red Dead Redemption 2 videos. Yeah, I suppose it qualifies for that playlist, even though the Night Folk are more like a cult than a gang, but then again you could say the same thing for the Skinners and the Murphrees, though with the Night Folk they aren't even advertised as a gang in-game or in promotional material. They're just sort of like bogeymen of the bayou. Anyway, be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. And if you really want to, be sure to whack that notification button on. I'd really appreciate that. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. So until next time, take care. Don't go into the fucking swamp at night.
That's hilarious. Don't go into the flippin' swamp at night. Sorry about the cussing. I'm not gonna cuss because I'm still a kid, but I'm also trying to get to 50 subscribers, so.
We appreciate that. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. So until next time, take care. Don't go into the fucking swamp at night. And goodbye.
This was one of the shorter videos that he just said. Yes, this is one of the longest videos that I have ever done in, possibly in a long time. So, with that being said, I thank him for doing this video. If he didn't do it, then this would not have done a few things. Tomorrow, I will possibly do The Strange Man, and possibly The Strange Man Revisited, which is 30 minutes long for the Revisited one. 36 minutes, I believe. So that will also be the longest video possibly that I might do. Tomorrow, at least. So, yeah, that will be done by then. Till next time, I am going to get out of here. I'm gonna call my girlfriend back. And just try and get me to 50 subscribers. I'm trying to go live so I can play games for you guys, do a reaction videos. I can look at the comments that you guys give me and you tell me what to do, and I'll quit what I'm doing there after like a few minutes, and I'll do that. And then yeah, just stuff like that. So just give me the 50 subscribers hopefully, and then I will go be live like I said and do all that stuff. Alright guys, I'll see you later in the next video. Peace.